GramacTalks. Yeah. GramacTalks. Let's go. Be the light that guides, the courage that explores. GramacTalks.
Hey everyone, welcome back to GramacTalks. Today I want to talk about something simple but deeply important, and that is inclusion. But before I get to that, I want to share a quick story. So recently I went to a basketball game and it was fun. It was one of the last basketball games of the year for my university. And the team won. The guys did great. They gave it their all. It was a really fun game. I had a lot of fun. And while I was there, I encountered a young woman, and I, I tried my best to introduce myself. She shook my hand, and I don't know why, but I felt like all of a sudden my voice left. I felt paralyzed, like the Big Time Rush song, Paralyzed. And it's a strange feeling. But and I just had to go. After the game was over, I kind of replayed that scene over in my mind. I thought, dang, why did I? Why did I do that? Why did I freeze? And like for me, I tend to be an extroverted, outgoing guy, except when I'm in my office. Of course, he could say I have a lot of books. I got the Holy Grail, and I like to read, but I also like to go out and be with people. And as I, think about these moments, I think it has happened maybe to others, not just myself. And it's moments where, connection almost happens, but it doesn't quite get there. Sometimes it gets lost in communication. And this moment got me thinking about something deeper. I thought it's not just about connection between people, between friends, between strangers, but it's about inclusion. Because the truth is that a lot of times people with disabilities are present, but they're not always truly included. And there's a difference. There's a big difference. Sometimes people don't know what to say, which I think was probably what the girl felt. I don't know. Sometimes people feel uncomfortable, and without realizing it, people tend to place others with disabilities or certain capacities into a separate space, kind of like their own club, so to say, instead of bringing them into the conversation or into the group. And I don't think they do it with bad intentions. I think they don't mean to include, or I don't think they mean to marginalize the disability community. I just think there a lot of people are insecure. They may be emotionally insecure and they just don't know how to react or how to handle something or someone that's different with them. And really, it's not complicated, or it shouldn't be complicated. I think, I think society just, they not only, well, because I felt accepted in a lot of places, and it's like I'm happy. I feel happy wherever I am in life, and a lot of people, that know me, friends that know me, they hang around with me and we have a fun time. But it's, of course, because they've gotten to know me. They've listened to what I, say or share. But, if you ask a stranger, it's, they don't know, or they might not have the same etiquette with, treating people with disabilities unless, they have a family member or a friend who is struggling with something. And this reminds me to actually my neighbor, Bob Bax. And Bob is 94 years old. And whenever I talk to him, or whenever we talk, he tells me, he's like, I don't see you for your disability. You may have limitations, but that isn't who you are. And sometimes I think of myself, I'm like, wow, this person is 93 years old. I mean, he's had his turns around the suns, but he has a very positive outlook on life. And, I thought how different would, well, maybe not the world, but how different would it be if people had, like, the same respect and the same perception of just seeing beyond the physical. And, just loving people. And this brings me to another moment that really, showed me what true inclusion looks like. So a couple of years ago, in I believe it was 2021, during my grandparents' 50th anniversary, we 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 made a big party, a celebration with church haters, not church haters, but with friends, with family, the the whole shebang, and everybody got to get together for the first time in, dang, I gotta say 15 years. And it was really nice because you got the whole family together. The cousins were all together, we had. I mean, it is a great time, and was really, I felt really special to be there for my grandparents on their big day. And I remember that we had like not a dance party, but we had some music going on, and I remember my Uncle Danny first because I'm in another country, so I can't bring my power wheelchair, and so I bring my stroller, and my Uncle Danny, and he'll push me around in my stroller to join everybody in, hey, I think it is like a Jewish dance. It is, I can't remember what it was, but the point was, whereas most people would either, dance and just, enjoy themselves, my uncle thought deeper, and he asked me if he wanted me to join him. I said sure, and I ended up having a lot of fun with everybody, and that's a fond memory that I'll cherish for a long time. And that's inclusion. I mean, he didn't treat me differently. He didn't give me special attention. No, he brought me into the celebration with everybody else. And that's what it really means to belong. And sometimes, like, I know for my brother during our during the time when we were kids, he would notice that I got a lot of attention because I, of course, have cerebral palsy, and there is certain needs I need to, I need assistance with, such as feeding and personal care. But, he understood that it wasn't really that, my parents either loved me more, loved him best. But, sorry, that's my train of thought, but the point was that, my parents, our parents loved us both deeply. and both special. And just because they require certain attention with, my physical needs doesn't mean that they love me more than him and vice versa. It's living with cerebral palsy is a challenge, much like any disability. And, throughout these past 24 years, I've learned that independence looks differently for everyone. And, I thankfully for me, like I said, I need help getting grass, eating, or transferring from bed to wheelchair. But other people may need more help, and there's others that do need care 24/7. And everybody's different. I mean, I've been blessed to have what I have. I mean, I'm grateful that I have a voice, and I'm grateful that I can express myself. I mean, every day I try my best to express myself. I try to read out loud to better enunciate, and this podcast also helps me express myself. And but others, they need care and assistance, and it's not bad. It's not like a big and I need to take a breath. But the main point in this episode is that needing help does not mean lacking independence. Independence is also a mindset. It's about having a voice, like I previously said. It's about making choices. Really, it's about making part of the world around you. And my third point is that this is where advocacy comes in. And advocacy is about making sure people are not just seen, but heard. It's about building a world where people with disabilities are not placed on the sidelines, but welcomed into the center of community, friendship, and opportunity. It's about building a bridge or a gap where, instead of isolating or marginalizing the quote unquote rogues, I could say, I think we need to build new bridges and approach them with love, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want connection. We want friendship. we want to be included. And I'm reminded of a quote written by C.S. Lewis, and he says, "Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good." Wow. I'm gonna say it again. Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good. And this idea has always stayed with me because real love, genuine love, isn't just a feeling. Unlike my professor of psychology, Dr. Lewis, not really good to see his Lewis. I always don't. But he says that love is a choice. Love is choosing to include someone. Love is choosing to listen. It's choosing to make space for people who might otherwise feel overlooked. Love doesn't isolate. It doesn't avoid. It doesn't separate. Love reaches out. So before we end today's episode, let me ask you something. When you see someone with a disability, do you include them in your conversations? Do you invite them into your circle? Do you take the time to get to know them? Because sometimes all it takes is a simple conversation. And I'll be honest, I'm still learning it too. Like I said, that moment of the basketball game reminded me that connection takes courage. I mean, I could have, just not say anything to that person and just left the stadium with my family. But I mustered the strength and I made the intention and wrote out to meet her. And I mean, that takes courage. I mean, it might have not gone the way I would have wanted or preferred, but at least I took the first step. And here's my encouragement to you. Be intentional. Start the conversation. Invite someone in. Make space at the table. I want to challenge you if you see someone, and it doesn't have to be someone with disabilities, it could be someone who you don't usually hang out with, or someone that most people overlook. I encourage you to start the conversation with that person and invite them into your friend group. Get to know them, listen to them, because you never know that one act of inclusion could mean the world to someone else. And if you'd like to explore this topic more and go deeper, here you can find it and more topics like this in my memoir, Disability, My Experience with Cerebral Palsy, where I go deeper into independence, advocacy, and building meaningful connections. Thank you once again for joining me today on GramacTalks. And remember, be the light that guides, the courage that explores, and the faith that endures.